It's me, Chris Kelly. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the city of Rochester Hills, and I'm happy to be here with you guys this morning. I am usually here every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. Last week I shared a video. I was on vacation, so I shared a video instead of being here live, but today I am here live, and it looks like I'm in the right spot. Let's see if I can move this over just a tad bit. Get it a little more centered for you. Sometimes I do worse when I try that than better. So, I'm going to go with good enough, and this is what we're going to do. I think I'm pretty much centered. So today we are going to make some cards with the Flowers of Beauty stamp set. This was from the new catalog release event that I did. And so if you took that class, this will be like an extra live tutorial for you. So I want to do, before we get started though, just remind you guys that bonus days are happening now until the end of the month. And it is a sort of like a Kohl's Cash kind of deal, where for every $50 you spend in July, in August you are going to get a coupon, or you'll get a coupon for $5 off all of your purchases in August. So you earn your $5 coupon in July and you use your $5 coupon in August. So really great deal. And we're going to go ahead. The Flowers of Beauty stamp set comes with some dies. I love these little border dies with all those flowers. It is a two-step stamp, which means you have the outline and then you have the middle. You can see I've used mine lots and have some extras in here, and we're going to use a lot of stamps today too. So they are photopolymer, which is really excellent for the two steps. You can see you have the outline and then the inside, and then you have the outline and the inside for all of the stamps. So that gives you really great dimension without having to do a lot of work. So we are going to start off with this one. This is our new Summer Splash paper. And look at all those goodies in there. All right. So there's some designer series paper that's also in that suite. And we're actually going to be stamping on that designer series paper. And so here you have the Summer Splash and Petunia Pop in Basic Beige. And the Basic Beige has already been embossed with the Painted Texture 3D embossing folder. So we're going to move all of these little things out of the way. And this is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of Summer Splash. It's been scored on the 8.5 inch side at 4 1/4. So we're just going to fold and burnish on that score line. Let me grab some adhesive here. And I am going to put down our piece of Summer Splash, which is 5 1/4 by 4. These in colors this year really coordinates just beautifully with one another. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put down our, I want to be sure I get that on the right side, our embossed piece of Basic Beige. And again, I'm just using, I actually am going to go all the way around my Basic Beige piece, because once they're embossed, they have all those little nooks and crannies in them. And so you want to get your adhesive in all of those little nooks and crannies. And this one is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So it's going to give it just kind of that little pop of color around the edges that you want. And I am going to stamp our sentiment. Now, I used the Unbounded Love stamp set with the coordinating dies for my sentiments in this one. And this is a great set. You can see it has 25 stamps in it. And all of those stamps, I have all these great little pieces cut out already to use. But they have all of these great frames that are just beautiful. And they coordinate with the size of the sentiments. So that's always an extra little bonus there. Move that over a little bit. Okay, and we're going to use some Petunia Pop ink, and we are going to stamp our sentiment in that. And my sentiment is going to say, "You're a true blessing." And again, it's going to fit right inside that little die cut piece. Because they're photopolymer, it's going to be fairly easy to line up. There we go. Wow, that was really very crooked after I said it'll be fairly easy to line up. So I'm just going to turn that one over. And I'm going to try it again. Now, normally, I would stamp and then do my die cut, but because this was for a class originally, the die cuts were done first so that they were already done when they came into class. Okay, so I'm going to do some, and this one is fine for me. I like the way I got that one on there. So I'm going to take this piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to stamp my flower outline. And I'm going to do 3 of them. There we go. And then I'm going to take my Summer Splash ink, and I'm going to stamp my leaves on this piece of Designer Series paper. And again, I'm going to stamp these 3 different times. I love that Stampin' Up! Gives us this coordinating Designer Series paper, which is so easy to stamp on and get just a beautiful image with. Get a little spot here for my dirty stamps, so I have room for my clean stamps. Let's see. Oh my goodness, just sent everything flying. Okay, that's kind of the day it is. It's raining like crazy here, and that sends my sinuses acting all goofy. It just, as you get older, everything kind of goes into disarray and falls apart very, very quickly. Okay, so let's get some die cuts going here. That's not the one I want. I want my flower and my leaves. And these are images that you can easily cut if you don't want to take the time to die cut them, or if you don't have the dies and you prefer to die cut as opposed to fussy cut or fancy cut, you can do that. But I'm just going to pop my little machine in here. I hope a lot of you guys scooped this machine up last month when it was on sale. It is one of my favorite little tools. I leave it right at my desk. And I have another one that I have out for classes, but this one is just, it works, it's like a little workhorse. And I'm going to kind of put that up so that I can fit the leaves on here too. And then I can do what I call a ride along. And I'm just going to put my die cut right over top of the leaves that I stamped on the Designer Series paper. And I'm using some Post-it tape. Post-it tape looks like this. It comes in any width that you want. And it's just going to hold my die cuts in place so that they don't move on my paper while I'm putting it through the machine. So I'm just going to line these up. And again, use a little piece of Post-it note there. I get the top for my sandwich and put those through. Just going to put my hand up here on the top. That's going to give it just a little added stability as my things are going through there. All right. And we're going to do this 3 times. I'm going to pop my little pieces out, and I actually am going to I'm going to grab my snips and just cut that piece off, piece of my designer series paper there. That way I'll get a little smaller and it'll be easier to fit as a right along in my machine. So let's pop this flower out. And you can see how that die cut just cuts right around there and gives you kind of that perfect cut. And we'll get this lined back up. And this lined back up. Sometimes with the flowers, it's hard to line up that die. So you kind of have to find a way that works for you to quickly line it up. Or you can just spin. Sometimes I think I have the way to quickly line it up, and I end up just kind of spinning it around a couple times to see where it really does fit. I think we can get these on here. Some of them, like the leaves, it's much easier to see where they fit than it is with the flowers. And again, the more you use these dies, the easier it is to get a feel for how they're going to fit on there. Just going to grab my other number 2. So your sandwich for this one is going to be your white base plate, a number 2 plate, your designer series paper with your stamped image, another number 2 on top. And you do always want to be sure when you're using these the mini machine, your big Stampin' Cut and Emboss or regular one, you don't need to bevel your sandwiches. But when you're using this little mini one, it's best if you bevel your sandwich stack. And I'll show you just exactly what I mean with that. So you want your sandwich stick to be kind of beveled. So you're flat here, you're going to come back a little bit and then go on top. Actually, when you look at it sideways, it looks kind of like an E there, like the letter E. So, and it just helps when you bevel it like that to get it through the machine nice and easy. And again, with the mini, you don't have to do that with the big one. With your big Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So, here we go. And let's get our last leaf on here. Boy, my sinuses, when it rains, they go crazy. I sound like I have a little bit of a sore throat, stuffy nose thing going on, and it's all just my allergies. I guess not my allergies. It's raining and not like really pollinated. After spending 6 days on a boat in the sunshine, this is really going to take a toll all day with rain. And I shouldn't say 6 days, because one day we were out on the lake and a storm came in so fast we didn't have time to get off the lake. So everyone just kind of hunkered down under the canopy on the pontoon and grabbed some towels, and we had some neighboring boats who were in the same situation, and so they had a great water playlist for us. So even in the rain, it was a good time on the boat. But it rained all night last night here, and just has continued to keep raining. So, okay, so now I have, these are all of our pieces here. So we have 3 flowers that were stamped right on the designer series paper, 3 sets of leaves, and then I did do these die cuts beforehand. And we have our words. And these, I'm just going to spend a second here poking out the insides. When I die cut these, I did put them on some sticky paper so they would be easier to adhere. So I'm just going to poke out. Now, some demonstrators like to poke all of these out. Some demonstrators poke a few here and there out. So this is totally your own preference as to how much of this you want to actually poke through and how much you want to leave there. It gets a little sticky when you put that sticky paper on the back of it. There we go. That one's a big one, so I can kind of pull that out this way. Don't really need my poker tool for that. Okay. And I'm going to kind of put this, let's see if I can get rid of some of the little scraps here, and we'll get rid of our little pokies. And I'm going to put this kind of like right in here. So I'm just going to, when you use the sticky paper, it is split. So you're just going to find that split and pull all of that off. And then you'll have, it's almost like a sticker. So you have this die cut that's all sticky, ready to use. And those are called our adhesive back sheets. I call them sticky paper, but they're actually adhesive backed sheets. I'm going to put that one down like right in there. And that is our summer splash. And I also did a coordinating one in our petunia pop. I actually have some flowers this year that are this exact color. It's so pretty. My husband was in charge of our garden. And he said we got plenty of a rain. He only had to water once, which I probably would have watered more than that, but they've all survived, so I am not going to complain. He now refers to it as our jungle deck. We do have some tomatoes popping out now. We have some strawberries that are blooming. So I suspect we'll have some ripe strawberries in no time. And our peppers also, we have some blooms on. So we're going to have some nice vegetables out there. We are going to be making pesto this week because our basil is really popped up nicely. So that will be fun. We like to make basil. This time or pesto. We're actually going to do some red pepper pesto this year, which we've enjoyed, when we bought it, but we've never made it before. So this will be our first time actually making it, which I'm excited about. I like to cook with things from our garden. My husband does most of the cooking, so we grow a lot of herbs during the summertime, and then just kind of bring them in the winter so that we have fresh herbs. And he likes to cook with fresh herbs all the time. And they smell so good. I don't know about you guys, but I just love the smell of fresh herbs. Some of them I don't care for as much as others, but our arugula has gone kind of crazy out there. So we have to go to the grocery store today because it's been a week that I've been gone. So it's time to restock. And I'm going to get some stuff for some egg salad sandwiches because we're fried egg sandwiches. I love arugula on a sandwich, so I can't wait to pick it and eat it. Now that little piece there, I just broke off when I was peeling, or when I was putting it on. So no worries, it's it's on there. You can't tell that it was broken. So I'm going to get rid of all of my little things that I poked out because I'm going to be poking some more out. And then we're just going to arrange our flowers. And I think I'm going to put down my leaves first. I'm just going to put some adhesive on all of them. Let's see. I'm trying to keep myself really organized here. And if you are watching, leave me a comment. Let me know you're there. I'm not just out here alone. What is with this today? There we go. And these are going to kind of be stacked one on top of the other. So I'm not really too worried about getting a lot of adhesive on them and where it is, etc. So this is our basic beige ribbon. And I am going to just fray this. So I'm going to cut one end off. I'm sorry, one edge off. And we're going to kind of put it behind our flowers. And that's going to give it a lot of texture. And it's also going to kind of give us a little bit of a road map as to where we're going to want to put our flowers. Okay? So I'm going to kind of just fray this up a little bit. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right here. I'm not going to worry too much about it because it's not going to show. We're going to put our flowers right on top of that. And I'm kind of going to arc it a little bit, so it's going to look like that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pull the rest up. I'm going to make a huge mess here, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and pull some strands of that out. As I pull it out, I'm just going to put it down and press it into my adhesive there. And you can pull out all of them. You can pull out a few of them. Usually a few of them at a time works best. And you don't have to use all of them. You can use just as many as you want to get it as, I don't know, if you want it really bulky, if you want it just to be a little bit so that it looks kind of still soft. I'm just kind of putting mine on there so it looks, I want it to look really soft and just as kind of a feathery little background. So I'm going to go back and grab just a few more. Now don't throw away this piece here, because you can use this piece, this little extra piece, for anything. So you can use it as a little skirting. It's really cute if you put it at the bottom of some words. So don't throw that piece out. Just be sure you save it, because you can recycle that. Okay. Now, let's get these together. Gotta get my little hairs off there. That really wasn't like the best idea to put that adhesive on there first, but I did, so we're gonna go with it. Just gonna kind of layer these around. I kind of like that look. So I'm gonna put just a leaf down and kind of go in here with them. And you can see, you're going to be able to see that ribbon in there. I'm going to go, just tuck this one up under there. And then this one, I'm going to go up here because I kind of want to cover that petunia pop down here at the bottom. So you can cut that off if you want, or you can just put your little leaves right over top of it. I'm just going to put my leaves right over top of it like that. Okay, and then I am going to stick just a glue dot under there to kind of hold those two down a little bit. And I'm just going to pick my glue dot up with my little pointer there. And I'm going to grab another one and put it right under there. There we go. And a little bit of adhesive on my words. And I'm just going to slide that under there ever so slightly. There we go. Isn't that pretty, you guys? I just think that is so cute. And then we have three little, these are the in color adhesive backed, I think they're matte dots maybe. So I'm just gonna pop three of these around. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I think that turned out so cute. And you can see how this just gives it a nice little kind of feathery, soft look to it. And I'm going to trim these just a little bit so they're kind of about the same length as they are on the other side. There we go. Okay, so that is our first card. Most of my classes, I do 3 cards, just because 3 cards seems to be that kind of magical number where you're not too tired, you're not frustrated. You can kind of make that 3 cards work. So, okay, this one we're gonna do. This one is, I believe, Summer Splash again. Okay, and we've got some more die cuts for this one. Let's see what's in our little magic envelope there. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have some flowers. Those are from that long die that I showed you. There are some leaves. You can see on the top of this that some more flowers, some more little dots, and 2 pieces of coordinating designer series paper. And we have, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of wax paper on the top of this. And when I have a die cut that's sticky, and it has all these little pieces to it, I like to put some wax paper between my cardstock and my dies, because that helps it to not stick. And especially for a class when I'm running lots and lots of them through, that's very, very helpful. And then we have another just plain little leaf and things to stamp on. And then this one, this die actually cuts out the inside frame also. So you have part for your words, and I'm just going to put this on like this inside there. So, really cool die. Okay, so our card base is 8.5 by 5.5. The 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. I'm just going to fold and burnish on that score line. This long piece of paper, you're going to put inside our card, and that's just going to help tie the inside and the outside together. Okay, and I'm just going to put it down at the bottom. I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch showing. And there we go. And then I'm going to take this piece of striped paper and put it on the bottom, and I'm going to put it right in the center of my card. And again, you can use whatever side of the paper you like, but I'm going to put this right in the center. And this one is 3 3/4 by 5, and this one is also 3 3/4 by 5. But I'm going to put this one at an angle So it's going to go like this. So you're just going to see that little outline from that one. And you can always, you guys, cut out the middle of these designer series papers. When you're using this, you can cut out just a circle, a die cut, anything you want in the middle of that, so you're not wasting all of that paper that you're not going to get to see once you put this on top of it. Okay, so this little one, we're going to stamp our words. And we're going to do that in the Summer Splash. And we're going to stamp the words hope on here. I'll get it up there where you can see it. All right. And then we're going to go ahead. And we're going to do some two-step stamping. So we're going to stamp the outsides and the insides. Now for me, it's easiest to stamp my outline first, because then I get a good image for me to stamp inside of. So I'm going to take my leaves, I'm going to use my Summer Splash, and I'm going to stamp my outline twice because I'm going to do 2 flowers. And then I'm going to stamp my insides. Let's see. That looks like it might not, oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to ink my stamp up, and then I'm going to stamp it off, which just means I'm going to stamp on my scrap paper. And this will give me what's called a second generation image. So I'm going to line my stamp up right over top of that outline and stamp the inside of my flower. So I've stamped off, and now I'm going to stamp the inside. So I'm going to stamp off and then line it up and stamp the inside. So you're going to get a really light image there on the inside that you can see. Okay, so that's going to add a lot of texture for you without adding a lot of extra work. And you're going to get that light and dark, which I think is really, you can use 2 different colors. Like you could use Coastal Cabana and Summer Splash. So you can use 2 coordinating colors if you want. But for me, it's just easiest, especially when I'm doing a class, to do a first generation and a second, so we don't have all the ink pads out there to get confused. So this one I'm going to, again, stamp twice. And I'm stamping in the Petunia Pop. And again, I'm going to ink up my stamp and then stamp off, and then give it a second generation inside my flower. And you can see right through my stamp there that you can see that outline. So that's how I line up my stamp. So you're going to get that kind of a beautiful image there. Where you've got it all lined up, and you can see how pretty the inside of that is. And again, just a quick and easy way to get that really nice, soft, kind of textured look. I'm going to try and get these completely out of the way. There we go. So I can get my little Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine in here. And we're going to use those same 2 dies to cut out our flowers and our leaves. These stamp sets were just like super fun to work with because there were just like so many different options that you could do. And I'm just going to cut these apart so that they'll go through my machine a little bit easier. These flowers are just so cool. All right. And I'm kind of a sucker for a 2-step stamp. And just because I love that the depth and the texture that you can get. it's amazing to me because it seems like you can just kind of reach out and touch that flower, and it's just flat. It looks like it's so three-dimensional because of the colors and all the different kind of veiny lines in it. So cool. All right. If you guys don't know, I love flowers. I love flowers and plants of all kinds. I have a very large lavender plant that I keep up in my yoga room during the winter, but in the summertime, it needs to go out on the deck and blossom, and just, that's my real happy place in the summer is my deck. So I have a neighbor boy that comes over and takes it out, carries it downstairs and then out on the deck for me. He's such a little cutie pie, but he does all of that for me, and then we'll take it back up in the fall. I used to be able to do all that stuff, but now the pot is so big and so heavy. So I'm very thankful for those wonderful neighbors and young men who can lift it and are willing to lift it and carry it up the stairs for me. Okay. This should do it. Those are too straight on there. So you guys have some classes coming up. On Monday, we're going to be doing the Inspiring Snapdragons class, which I love Snapdragons, of course. So that's going to be a fun class, and it's a 2-step stamping set too, which is really fun. And then I have an online exclusive class coming up, which we're going to be doing Halloween and some fall leaves, and I'm going to start my Christmas cards, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the other one we have is Create with Chris, or Craft Along with Chris, and that one we're going to use the sketched butterflies for. So we're just kind of hitting all of the best of summer, if you will, with flowers and dragonflies. And at the end of the month, the very end of the month, I'm going to be doing a Pocket Thoughts class. There were a couple really different, interesting stamp sets in this catalog. One was a rosette, and the other one was this Pocket Thoughts. So I'm going to do a class with that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to start with my little frame here. And again, I used some sticky paper on it, some adhesive backed paper on it. So I'm just going to find that little fold, and I'm going to peel it off. That's where I'm going to start peeling. Peeling my adhesive off there. And this one, especially after I got the adhesive backed on there, it made it much easier to do with the wax paper on the top. And all of those little inside pieces, some of them are just going to pull right out. And I think the ones that don't, I'm just going to actually leave in there. I think that will be okay. Yep, I can live with that. So I'm going to put that, I think, here. And I can see I have a little bit of wax paper left right there, so yeah, I'm going to pop that out. There we go. And then I'm just going to add some adhesive and put my hope. Oh, I put that on there backwards. Let's see if I can pop that off. Probably not, right? Well, I can. If you guys could see me, I have my tongue out between my lips because that makes everything work, right? Let's see if we can just kind of scrape those pieces off. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it was as easy to fix as this after putting it on upside down? So I'm just using my little pokey tool to get those insides off there. Woohoo! Look at that. You would never know, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. that. I want to make sure I get it nice and straight. I might have to lift it up to make sure it's straight. Okay, I'm actually going to stick my hope on there. And I want it to kind of go right under the edges of this little frame in the corner. So I'm just going to kind of lift that up and put my word on there. And then press that frame in good and tight. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with my leaves. And this one again has some adhesive back on it. So when we get to that one, we'll peel that off. And let's put some adhesive on these. Boy, it is really dark out. It looks like it's just going to storm forever here. Okay, so I think I'm going to kind of go this way up at the top here. Did you guys wonder how I was going to cover that empty space up there? I'm going to kind of put that right on my words, just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to do over here, kind of up in here. And I'm going to put this one in here. And I'm going to kind of maneuver it around so not too much of that second one sticks out. And then I'm going to put this one right in the middle. Let's see if I can find the little starter fold there. And sometimes you're just going to have to poke around. If it didn't, there we go. All right. I'm going to put that kind of right under there. So a little more. There we go. All right. And then we're just going to add these little flowers. And I put 3 of them on. And again, they have this sticky back on them. The adhesive sheet. You think this girl would get that by now, right? And you're going to peel it off, all of them. And these are just with the white, just kind of really makes it pop a little bit. With the white that's behind our words and then around our flowers and our leaves. And we have these little teeny tiny iridescent pearls. And I actually chose those to be my accessory on this card. I'm going to have to get in here with my little pokey tool and get that started. After you put it on there and then run it through the die cut machine, sometimes it gets a little sticky in there. I'm going to kind of add that one right in there. And I actually want it down under that flower. Let me see if I can lift that flower up a little. There we go. All right. And I'm going to put these little pearls right in the middle of those flowers. You can see that flower's open. So these are just the iridescent pearls. And my friend Debbie was watching, she'd be going, use your take your pick tool, girl. And it's right here by me. Sometimes there's a little rebel in me who doesn't want to, right? Okay, so that's our second card, which I think is every bit as nice as our first one. This stamp set is so pretty. And I kind of like, I could use flowers on every stamp. Every card I make, I could use flowers on, I think. So let's pop over to our last card, which is like a totally different, it's got a totally different vibe to it. We're going to use some more muted, softer colors. Yeah, it's going to be just as beautiful, though. Absolutely just as beautiful. These are kind of more of the colors I think of as a snapdragon, because this is more of a flower that I think looks like a snapdragon. So again, we have one of those adorable, we have some designer series paper here, some paper to stamp on, but this frame, okay, there's some paper for the inside and for the outside. This one's been embossed with that eyelet lace embossing folder, and this is our basic beige. And then here's another one of those really cool die cuts that cuts out the outside and the inside. Isn't that so pretty? I just love it. So cool. So this is our Calypso Coral, 8.5 by 5.5. The 8.5 inch side is scored at 4 1/4. We're just going to fold and burnish on that score line. And then we have this piece of basic beige paper that we're going to actually put on the inside of our card. So this is just a 3/4 of an inch, and I've embossed it so that it matches what the front of your card. And I think that's just going to be such a nice little addition to the inside. And you can put a piece of white paper in there if you want to, but I don't think it's necessary because I think you can see fairly well on that coral piece. And then this one, again, I'm going to put my adhesive all the way around it so it gets in all of those embossed nooks and crannies and really holds this down to the inside of our, or to the outside of our card, the front of our card. And let's get it nice and straight. There we go. And then we have just this little piece of designer series paper. And you really could use either side of it. I love both sides of it. This paper is an online exclusive. And I love all of the soft watercolor notes and textures to it. It's just so pretty. So here you have kind of like this watercolor look to it. Almost like a watercolored grid paper, which is really pretty. Okay, so let's get some stamps out here. And I'm going to stamp a happy birthday inside our, I don't know what I did. Maybe I put it over here. Did I do that? Nope. Let's see where my happy birthday got to. Did I put it back? I did put it back. I've been doing my best to stay as organized as I possibly can in my stamp room. So it's sometimes now I don't know where to find things. I've got them all put away. Okay, so I'm going to use some Flirty Flamingo. So my paper must be Flirty Flamingo and not coral. And I'm going to stamp that right onto, this is really a big block for this, but it's the one I had here, so it's the one I'm using. So I'm going to stamp that right in the middle there. Here we go. And two little die cuts there. As long as I have this one out, this is the one we're going to start with for our flowers. And again, we're going to do the same kind of technique where we stamp first generation with our outline, and then we're going to come in with our second generation and line it up. So this is my more solid image. And it's going to give me that kind of background look for me to put the outside of my flowers on. So I'm going to ink it up and then just stamp it off and put it right on top of my flowers. And I can see I have it upside down. And hopefully you can see those flowers right in the middle of my circles there. Maybe after I get it stamped. There we go. So you can see how I've lined it up. So the little inside circles are the ones that were done with the first generation, and then I have that really soft on the outside, lining it right up so it looks like that. Isn't that just beautiful? All right. And then we're going to do that with some Lost Lagoon. So we're going to make our leaves Lost Lagoon. So we're going to bring this big piece of paper in, and I'm going to stamp again my outline stamp first. And then that's going to give me a nice bold image to stamp my inside stamp around. So I'm going to ink that one up. And again, just stamp off. And then I'm going to line that right up. I'm going to aim it down. There we go. Oh, that one is really, really light. I think I'm going to do it again. We'll stamp it off, and then we'll line it up. And there we go. I'm going to give this one a nice deep push. Oh, much better. Here we go. So you can see those leaves. Aren't they pretty? I just love them. Lost Lagoon is kind of one of my favorite leafy colors. Okay, so that is it for our stamping. Let me get this box out of the way here. And we're going to die cut these two pieces. We're going to put that up there, and then I have taken a piece of the basic beige. I frayed it, and then I just tied it in a knot. Okay, so we're going to use that. We'll bring in our little mini machine here. And this one, your die cut's going to be a little tricky, but super fun. I'm going to cut this one first because the other one is going to be so different. It's going to be like super fun, but really different and not what you would expect. So I'm going to actually put two of these on here, and we're going to cut it first. All right. And then we're going to cut the top layer of the other one. So this is going to be kind of the background, which is going to be like a big stalk or stem. Okay, so you have that. And then we're going to cut out the flowers that we're going to put on it. And I'm sure that this is a specific kind of flower, but I don't know what kind. I'm stumped as to what kind of flower this is. So if you're watching me and you know, or even if you're catching the replay and you know, let me know, please. It's one of those if you know situations. So if you know, let me know, please, and thank you. Okay, so this is going to cut out all of those gorgeous flowers that we stamped. And it's actually going to cut them and not leave them on this long stem piece like you would think. So then you get to play a little bit of the artist and decide where you want the flowers to actually go on this stalk or stem that you've cut out. I love how this just folds right up super easy and out of the way. See what I mean? So you have these pieces that are cut out. So they didn't actually cut out on the stem. And you could, I'm actually going to leave mine just for purposes of showing you that you don't need to feel intimidated by this, because your stem is kind of going to go that way. So let me see if I can find some. Here's a big piece of scrap paper we can put over that. So I'm going to take them out and kind of lay them just as they are when they're cut. So this one's going to go here, and then this one is going to go at the bottom. Okay, so that's somewhat what this stem is going to look like if you put your flowers right on top of your stalk or stem. Okay, so then I'm going to bring these in, and I'm kind of going to set them up the same way they are here. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to kind of put this top one on a glue dot. And you can start at the top or the bottom, however you want to do it. And I'm going to put that kind of right at the top. And then this one's going to kind of come down the side a little bit. And you really can put them anywhere that you want to. It doesn't have to be this way or that way. They're really gonna look nice wherever you put them. So I'm gonna actually come down and start with this one at the bottom. And I'm gonna go away. I think I'm gonna do this. And put these 3 over here. Oh, I hear some thunder out there. I'm going to do those 3 there. And then I just have 2 little ones. I'm going to kind of put one over there. I don't know. One here. And then this little tiny, teeny one right in here, I think. There we go. Okay, I think I can live with that, but I have got my die cut a little askew down here. And so I'm actually going to come in and just trim off a little bit of that white, which you're really not even going to notice at all. All right, so I'm going to put this up on some dimensionals, and I'm going to use some of our little mini dimensionals because there's lots of little tiny kind of spots in here. And we have little mini dimensionals, we have regular dimensionals, we have adhesive foam sheets, we have adhesive strips, all kinds of ways to add dimension with just by raising an image. And you kind of just find they're all good for different uses. We even have some black ones we'll be whipping out when it gets Halloween time. A lot of people like their dimensionals to match their cardstock. So here we go. And I'm just going to pop this off. Gotta get the backs off all those little tiny things now that we've got all those little tiny things on there, right? I hope you guys are all having a great day. Hey, Friday is Fun Fold Friday. So I'll be here at noon sharing a really great fun card pattern with you. There we go. Let's put that one back on there so we can use it later. We're going to get these pieces out of the way. Okay, I'm just going to take some regular Scotch tape and tape this right inside here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this look as hard as I can because it seems to be the way things are going for me today. All right, so I'm going to get a little piece of Scotch tape and I'm going to tape this right at that edge. And you can do this with your regular adhesive. Just put the two of them together. I'm going to make sure that they're not like falling apart here. I think that will work. Okay, I'm going to take this, our little hairy kind of, and I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to use just a glue dot on there. And again, you could have put your adhesive onto your cardstock if you want to. I'm going to put mine on there. And then I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use foam strips for this one. And so that I can put them on the top and the bottom. And they'll keep them above this knot. Okay. So these are our foam adhesive strips. They come 2 sheets like this to a pack, and there's just a whole bunch of tiny little strips that you peel off, and I'm going to put them at the top and the bottom, and I'm also going to put them on the sides because I want to get as much of the fraying as I can to be held down with the sticky strip. So I'm just kind of placing it everywhere but in the center, because in the center, again, is where I'm going to put that knot. That knot's going to end up right in the center of this kind of rectangle that I made with the adhesive, with our little foam adhesive strips. All right, I can see I didn't got that one hanging over the edge. So I'm just going to peel that back and trim it off just that little piece that's hanging. And I get another little one over here. Okay. So we're just going to peel that off the back. And we're going to put that happy birthday right. I'm going to do it right at that edge there. There we go. I love that kind of little hairy look to it. And then we have some little dots. And I'm going to do that kind of 2 with the big one and the little one there. And I'm going to put a big one down in there. There we go. So that's card number 3, you guys. I went a little over my hour, but I think we're good. So we have these beautiful cards made with the Flowers of Beauty stamp set and the coordinating paper with it. Aren't they gorgeous? I just love them. So I'm going to pop down here, see if anybody's watching, if anybody left me a comment. Bambi, yes, yay, Halloween. That is your favorite season, and I love it. I have a class coming up, and I'm really excited about it. We're actually going to do a little kind of Halloween treat goodie, so that will be fun. Carol, hello. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, yeah. I'm a good one for fresh herbs and flowers, and I love all the smells of summer. Watermelon, oh, really gets me too. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you're catching the replay, please leave me a comment and let me know. Bye-bye, everyone, and I hope to see you on Friday for Fun Fold Friday at noon. Bye-bye.